Hi, I'm Micah, and I got my MBA from WGU, Western Governors University, and now I'm getting my master's in management and leadership. And today I wanted to go over how I pass objective assessments. So those are your OAs, your exam, your test, whatever you want to call them. For those of you who don't know, WGU is competency-based. So once you're able to show that you know the knowledge, you pass the class and move on to the next class. So I'm going to talk to you about how I did that quickly and effectively without not gaining knowledge, without skipping that part. But just developing it really quickly. I will say I knew a lot of things going into WGU and into my MBA, along with my MSML. But there were still definitely things that I needed to learn, especially things like dates and the human capital class. Like that was the biggest thing that I needed to learn there because I've been through, an HR presentation at work several times. But I didn't know what years laws came into effect and things of that sort. So how did I learn all of this stuff? So I do have notes over here. So if you see me looking, that's what I'm looking at. The first way that I learn things quickly and effectively is by using flashcards. You can read the books all day long if you want. Maybe you learn best that way. I don't. I learn best by going through the material again and again. Now, if there's something that I don't understand within the material, then I'll search out other resources, but that didn't really happen for me. There are videos that go along with a lot of your courses that you can look through if you're not understanding some of the material. And I did have to do that in accounting and finance, but for the rest of the courses, I didn't really have to do that. So I use flashcards. My two favorite forms of flashcards are Quizlet and Anki. Anki is free. And a little bit lesser known. It's heavily used in like the medical school community and things of that sort. And that's really how I found out about it. It was like a medical school YouTuber who was giving some study tips years ago, and I found out about it and I was like, this is fantastic. I use these things not only for WGU, but I also use it for language learning. I'm just a big self-learner in general, so I'm always learning something, and I'm definitely using flashcards to do so. You can use Quizlet on learn mode, but you do have to have the premium version of it. The great thing is there's a lot of Quizlet decks that have already been made by WGU. Just find some that are really good, because there's definitely bad ones out there. But find some that are like top rated, and I'll get into how you find those later whenever I get into the research portion. But my biggest tip is flashcards, using those. And then there's also an extension that you can add to Anki to take your Quizlet decks and move them over to Anki. And Anki's great because it uses spaced repetition. So if you're not someone who's able to learn things like this, that's okay. I super recommend Anki for you, because what it'll do is spaced repetition, and you'll learn a little bit every day, and then it will remind you of the things periodically so that you don't forget. It's fantastic. That's how I learned languages and a lot of other things. But mostly for WGU, I used Quizlet in learn mode. And like I said, I knew a lot of it, so there just wasn't a ton that I needed to learn. So it was a pretty easy kind of thing for me. But the next thing is researching your classes. So you know that you want to use flashcards, right? That's what I used, at least. And I knew that I wanted to use it because I knew that it worked for me. You need to research your courses before you start. There are 3 ways that I recommend researching your courses. There are several Facebook groups for WGU students. Some of them are dedicated to specific programs like the MBA, and then some of them are more general, like the WGU accelerators, and there's like a whole bunch of other groups out there, and I'm sure that you can find them for whatever program you're enrolling in. But go on there, hit the little search feature within the group and search for your class number. So like maybe I'm looking for C202, which is the human capital class. I'm just gonna keep using that as an example. C202, I'm going to look in the MBA group for that. Maybe I'll look in the accelerator group, but I'm probably gonna have more luck in the MBA specific group. So I look there, I see what people are saying, I see what's the common thread that people are saying, what are a bunch of people talking about, what Quizlet decks are they recommending over and over and over again as how they passed it, and then I go with that one. Then the next thing that I would do, or the next way that I would research, is Reddit. So I know Reddit is a little out there, and it can get a little mean sometimes, a little nasty, especially in the regular WGU one, but in the MBA one, it's a little nicer, at least I found. So you can go on there, again, search for your specific course number and see what people are saying as to how they pass those courses. And you don't even have to only use that for the OA. You can also use that for your papers as well, your PAs. So I recommend using that as well. And then the last tip that I will give you for research is Discord. There are a couple of Discord groups. There's one very popular one, but there are a couple of Discord groups dedicated to WGU and WGU programs. So go through those Discord groups, and again, same way that you're going through all the other ones. See what people are saying about the courses. It's a great way to meet other people in your program as well. I have met a couple people who I've stayed in touch with whenever I was doing my MBA. Some people are still doing the program. Some people have finished the program. You know, everybody finishes at different times, but it can be a great way to begin to build community as well. And then, so my next tip is body doubling. Not everyone needs this. I need this. There are a couple of ways that I've used body doubling, and there's some that I recommend and some that I don't, and I'll talk more about that. So my first, like my best way that I recommend body doubling is a website called FocusMate. You can get unlimited sessions for $5 a month, but you can get, I think, like 2 hours free every week for free. So if you're going through it slowly, you don't need to pay the $5. But honestly, like $5 isn't going to break most people. I will say most people. So paying $5 to have somebody to study with on the other side of the screen. They use the Pomodoro method, so you can have a 25-minute, 50-minute, or 75-minute scheduled session, and then you go on, you say, you know, hi, I'm so-and-so, this is what I'm working on, what are you working on, great, best of luck, mute yourself, unless somebody wants you to not mute yourself, in which case I really don't like those sessions. I prefer to be muted. I prefer for you to be muted. I do not like to hear the typing and things of that sort. I'm not that kind of studier. So you go on there, you do the session. There's a little bell that dings at the end of the session to let you know it's over. And then you come back on, meaning you unmute yourself because you're on camera the whole time. Don't be one of those people who's not on camera, because like it defeats the purpose of body doubling. There's no body in front of you. I find that really annoying, and I usually will hide those people so that I can never be paired with them again. And yeah, so that's what FocusMate is. It's absolutely fantastic. Another way you can do this is Discord. Again, there are a couple of Discord communities, but the one that I recommend the most is one called Study Together, and there's also a website for it. So if you don't want to download Discord, you can go to Study Together. I think it's studytogether.com, but just Google Study Together Discord and you'll find it. Anyway, you study mostly in group sessions there, and I don't love this, and I'll tell you why. There are a lot of like high schoolers and things of that sort who are also studying on there, and no offense to high schoolers at all, but sometimes they want to play around, they want to flirt with people on screen, they want to like DM you like weird things, and like I'm just not about that. I'm here to study. So I find FocusMate to just be a more professional platform to do that on. But if you're looking to build community of people who are also studying, Discord. And then of course you can find friends. So maybe you already know people who are studying, and maybe you don't. A lot of the people who I study with now, I actually met through a Facebook group, just for people who are looking to meet people in the Atlanta area. I actually started an MBA program at a different school before switching to WGU. I just really hated my program. I'm not going to talk about what school it was, but I really hated it. It didn't serve me well, as far as like just getting my assignments week by week by week. Cause some weeks would be really hectic for me, and other weeks it would be like, I would have nothing to do, and then I would have no assignments either. So it was like really annoying for me, and I hated that. And I would spend a ton of time on things that I understood perfectly. And so I just really hated the brick and mortar, way of doing it, or I guess the more traditional, because a lot of online schools still do it that way too. Oh, and I hated discussion boards. Absolutely hate discussion boards. I just felt like it was like, how much can you fluff like in like 200 words? It was not great. I didn't get a lot of things from it, so it just wasn't best for me. But I went on that group, and whenever I was in that school, and I posted that I was a student and I was looking for people to study with, and I found a lot of my friends here in the Atlanta area through this group. And yeah, so maybe they have one near you. If they don't, online communities are great. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about, because this video is getting pretty long, is rewarding yourself. So it's important to reward yourself along the way, because, you know, if you've studied for 30 minutes, if you've studied for 4 hours, like you need to reward yourself so that you don't burn out. So what I do after every one of my FocusMate sessions is I will go to the chart that I have in my planner, that you can buy, and I'll link it down below. And I mark off like my understanding of the subject. I also mark my Pomodoros in the sheet for Pomodoros as well, so that I know how many hours I've spent studying, and then how much understanding I have. So either if I'm using Quizlet, and I'm using Quizlet Learn, or maybe I'm taking a pre-assessment, or maybe I'm doing like a test on Quizlet, I'll just use that percentage to see like how far I've gotten. And I find that to be really, really helpful. So those are the ways that I study for OAs at WGU. If you are interested in, you know, maybe having that research done for you, having a community that's already set up for you, for studying and things of that sort, and having people who you can rely on for study plans, I do offer academic coaching and academic group coaching, so that you can like be paired together and kind of create a community. I will link that information down below as well. It's been a lot of fun coaching some of you and meeting some of you, but if you're interested in having some of that done for you, I can do that for you. Won't give you the answers, but will help you get them. Yeah, so, and then I will also link that planner down below, which will also help you with your studies and setting up for a good semester or a good course at the beginning of each course. I'm also going to make a video on how I write papers at WGU, but this is just how I do OAs. So let me know if you have any study tips for how you handle OAs, or if you have any question about OAs down below. Bye.